Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to episode 6 of the Nick Stool Show podcast. Today, I have one of my friends. His name is Russell. We are, currently just chilling out, talking about entrepreneurship, and it's cool to hear other people's stories and other people's experience in entrepreneurship. Because to be honest, there's not a lot of people that I know that do it. So I'd love to get a chance to document and just hear from what other people have to say. So, what were we talking about before when you were saying how you don't take like an instructor's manual and learn how to drive a car. You actually got to drive the car.
Oh.
Where are we getting at with that?
What were we saying? We were saying people who were just being like skeptic and like pretty much calling you out on shit that they know nothing about.
Yeah.
That's what the skepticism is from, is like just ignorance and like lack of knowledge, and they don't know what they're talking about. And the only way to learn that is through experience. Oh, it was that guy who filmed himself with the flaming book.
Yeah.
It says everyone's just, you could read a book, but you're not going to know what to do with it. It was like driving a car. You're never going to learn how to drive a car just from all the stupid written tests we take. You don't learn until someone guides you and experience the physical act of getting in the car, putting your foot on the gas. Because when you first learned to drive your car, was it a lot of this when you were stepping on the gas?
I didn't really know what I was doing at first.
Yeah.
Right? You need to have somebody show you what to do. Then you got to practice it, and then over time you get good at it. So it's like anything.
Yeah, it's just experience and hard work. But
you can't read an instructor's manual, take a test on it, and then all of a sudden you don't necessarily know what you're doing.
No, never.
But I want to talk to you for a second about I know that you dropped out of college. Can you kind of explain your experiences and how people treated you for doing that, when you first dropped out? Because I know how long have you dropped out now?
What is this, 2018? 2 years. 2 years. I dropped out. First I went to Hofstra for that first semester. Hated it. Very accredited school. Was going for business. Kind of just taking a bunch of classes that I was never going to use. Like history. There was math classes in it. Stuff that I knew I wasn't going to use. Nothing that was relevant to life. On top of that, I had the worst roommate. I was going through...
Why was he the worst roommate?
Alright, this is going to sound stupid, but one of the things that really just... It's like a pet peeve. He would smack his food. Do you know what that is?
No.
Where they're just that was the most brutal thing. But he was just an ass. After a while, he took me off of his Snapchat, that's not the big deal. But he would film me when I'd be minding my business. I would just be sitting there in my chair watching The Office during my free time after I wouldn't even do the homework, to be honest. And then after a while, he would just put me on his story saying really just negative stuff, that it just didn't make sense because I never did anything to him. I was always his friend. I took him out to lunch. He always ran out of money on his lunch card. I always had extra, so I paid for him. So it was just bizarre. And then he was always fake until someone who I had a project with in one of my labor studies classes told me that her friend showed her and was like, hey, isn't this the guy that you're working with? And I saw it and I was like, wow. So then one day I went back to the room and I locked the door and I just called him out on everything. And he was just sitting there breathing heavy. He had no shirt on for some reason. He was weird. And I made him put on his Snapchat and we were going through the story in front of him. And anything negative he said, oh, this kid's a bitch, I had him say it about himself. And that's just how much of a coward and how weak he was. So he was just an ass. And on top of that, I had just a declining relationship that was just spiraling out of control, so that added to it. And I was just all right, school, not for me right now. Miserable. Maybe it's just Hofstra being away. And my mom, she caught on to that because of money. So she said, Russell, if you're really this miserable and you stay, you're going to be miserable and be $100,000 in debt.
Holy shit, $100,000.
And that was with a $20,000 scholarship. So it right then and there, I was all right, Hofstra's not it. Let me get out of here. And then eventually I ended up, the next semester I went to Suffolk. So I figured it's cheap. I'm going to learn the same stuff anyway. It's close and I could work. So, went to Suffolk, was bussing tables at an Applebee's in the meantime, trying to save up. And it was literally the same feeling. I didn't have a dick roommate. I didn't have a bad relationship anymore because we cut ties. And that feeling was just still there. I felt like I was just waking up, going through the motions every day. I felt like a robot. And I was just, like, this was literally my schedule. I would wake up, get dressed, drive to class, fight for a parking spot.
I hate fight, dude. That was like one of my
Suffolk
least favorite things about Suffolk. Fighting for a parking spot is annoying as shit.
I had like a standoff with a mom. Like, I was there first. She pulls up, turns her blinker on, and the deciding factor was the guy backing up, which direction he would back up into.
Mm-hmm.
So he backed up to block me out, and then she swooped into the spot, and I was late to class that day. But it was the same feeling every day. There was that set routine: wake up, go to school, learn something that I'm never going to use in life, come back for like that gap in between classes, have a quesadilla. It was always a quesadilla. Go back to school.
It was always a quesadilla.
It was always a quesadilla because it was just like this just robotic routine I got myself sucked into. And then spring break came. I didn't do anything spectacular spring break. I literally just worked. That was it. And one day it was on like a Tuesday. I woke up and I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better just not having to wake up and go to school today. And that's when I knew. And then you were in my class with Miss Haber, right?
Yeah.
I actually went to her the next day, and we were just catching up, and then she asked me about school, and she saw my face drop. She's like, I saw that look on your face when you walked in. What's going on? And she talked me through the entire thing of not going to school. She said, why are you in college? I was
It's
like,
so crazy. A teacher would be the one to tell you that.
exactly. And I mean, you had her as a teacher.
Oh my God, I loved
me too.
her.
She never spoke because it was college English. You're not going to teach a senior about English. Like, we've done all that stuff already. She spoke about life. And so when I went to visit her, I knew I could have a genuine talk with her because we always did. And when she asked, why are you actually in college? It like blew my mind. I was like, you're a teacher? What do you, like, what? She's like, yeah, it's not for everybody, but we do have to work on finding something for you to do. And the biggest thing with her, and I'll never forget, was just like her mentality. It was not what do you want to do, but it was the life that you're living. So even when we were in class, she always spoke about traveling and seeing the world and having life experiences. She never once said, look into this job or this career. She always switched it and said, look into this lifestyle, look into like your passion, stuff that you put on a bucket list.
Right.
And that's what we focused on. We just focused on traveling, helping people, just learning new things, experiences, and she tried her best. You can only teach somebody as much as you know and what you've done through your life and your experiences. So as far as the entrepreneurship world, she didn't really have that aspect.
Because she doesn't know, because she's a teacher.
Yeah, exactly. She's a teacher. That's where she's comfortable. She's making an impact in kids' lives to as much of an extent as she's
As she
able
can,
to.
but she made a great impact in my life.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
I fucking loved her.
And I thank her to this day just for that just switch in perspective. And then after that day, I even took another day to myself. So that was the Thursday I took to myself just to really, go through, a lot of introspective thinking, self-audit, reflection, and I meditated on it. I was like, is this really the right decision, or am I just basing this all on emotion? And that was it. So the next day, Friday, was the last day of spring break. And that's when I told my mom, and I was like, Mom, I don't even know how I went about it. I think I just told her, like, Mom, I'm not going to school. And she was like, what? And she was super mad because...
Oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah, she it's just like all she knew. Go to school, get good grades, get a good job, and you'll have like an amazing life, and everything was set. Which, obviously, in today's time, that's not what happens at all, especially when you're stuck in this crippling debt from school. But that's a whole nother...
On top of a job you don't like, and a commute you don't like, and a boss you don't like, and people that you work with that you don't like, that you can't choose.
And settling for a lifestyle that is not what you originally wanted. You just settling your dreams. And I told her, I was like, Mom, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. I am not going to school. Nothing is set in stone, but I am not going to school. And the only thing I'm asking for you is just to be supportive of it. And at first she definitely wasn't. But, I came to realize, like, you're not going to be paying my bills. You're not going to be, like, I don't want to live with you forever. I want to be out on my own, and you're not going to be supporting me the rest of my life. So I'm making my decision what's best for my life now and for my future. And that was kind of like my whole process of just kind of making that first decision on, like, for yourself, where you make that first conscious decision of this is my life, I have to do what's right for me. So, yeah, that was my whole thing with leaving school. Best decision I ever made. Because I see it every day. My brother just came home. Ready? Check this out. I had little backstory here. I had a jury duty, like a jury summons. I had 3 tickets. One of them, I called. My number wasn't called the first time. Then you got to call the second time. My number was called. But when I called to check, it was too late. So I was like, whatever. I threw it away. Second ticket came in, or second summons. I was just like, I got away with the first one. I threw that one away without even bothering checking. A third summons comes. It's written all in red. So I put it on a magnet on the fridge. And so everyone sees it. And I know, I'm like, okay, I got to call. Because there's like $1,000 fine, maybe even jail time if you don't go. This is the third time. It's in all bright red. They're mad at me. And, my number wasn't called, thank God. So I have like 6-7 years till I have to go to jury duty. But what was funny is when I put my summons on the fridge, my brother, who is 23, put his student debt on the fridge because he just got it. And it was like $20,000 to $30,000 in debt. 4 years, Albany, bachelor's degree. Can't get into grad school because it's so saturated and there's so much competition. And the reason he's not ahead of that competition like he should be is because his school messed up sending in his transcripts twice. The first time, they just didn't send it in. The second time, they sent in someone with the same name as him, but not him, and that kid was failing. So they completely ruined his chance of getting into grad school right away. Now, instead of going to be a physician's assistant like what he wanted, he might have to settle just for being a nurse because he knows of, the student debt that he has to add on to it. On top of taking more classes at Suffolk to build his transcript to get to a grad school that realistically he might never even get into because of the saturation and fresh competition of all these new graduates. And he put that on the fridge, $20,000 to $30,000 in student debt, and it just hit him. And he had no idea where it came from, who's paying it, how he's going to pay it, what he's doing. And I was just looking at it and I was like, I have zero debt. I have zero debt. I was taught how to properly budget my money, where in like under a year, I saved up $10,000 into a savings, an extra $2,000 into an emergency, and an extra another maybe $1,500 in my checkings. Didn't go to school, didn't learn that in school. I learned that from people who have fruit on the tree, who have the success that I want in life. You're not going to get that in the schoolroom, or classroom, or the school system. And then he's stuck with his debt. And then, obviously, you've seen kids from our school or other schools, or just people our age, or even like a little bit older than us, who are in school. And I'm not putting school down, but when you're having all this debt on one side, and not knowing what to do once you get out of it, and just settling, that's like misery. That would just be me sticking with that whole system of going through the motions and just existing.
Let me just play devil's advocate, because
Please.
I decided to do a speech in front of my college class.
I saw that video.
And you should have heard the version where my teacher was throwing it back at me. He was being an asshole to me.
Right.
And I asked him, I was like, yo, would you mind if I put you talking in the video? Like, you made some valid points, and it's great for YouTube. It's great for my brand, people like that. People like the interaction. That's why I'm making the podcast. I think what you've said so far is ridiculous amount of value to scare someone into thinking, holy shit, $30,000 and my mommy's not going to pay for it? Oh, fuck. Now I have to get a job I don't like to pay it off. Like, that's real shit. And people have to understand, like, I was always petrified of debt. When I first got out of high school, I was like, fuck that shit. I'm not going unless I'm playing baseball and my mom's paying for it.
Yeah.
And that was the standard. I was like, I'm happy I'm going to Suffolk because it's cheap.
Mm-hmm. And you learn the same shit anyway. All right, so let me play devil's advocate, because this is what he was saying to me. He said I couldn't put his voice in there. Oh, really?
Clearly he wasn't confident in what he was saying
say.
because like he didn't let me put his face in the video.
Right. I was gonna
'Cause
say
he
because
was too
normally
much,
you can just like blur out the face and you're fine.
I know, but like I don't even know how to do that.
Ah.
So it's like that's like some high tech editing. So I'll just tell you what he said. I'll just be devil's advocate. He said you don't go to college to learn how to make money. You go to college for the experience, to grow as a person. And I was like, but we're going ridiculously in debt. Wouldn't I want to learn how to make money with, that money that I'm going into debt with? And he had no answer for that. Except that I needed to stop my presentation and that I was just being a salesman trying to get people.
Oh, that's where he cut you off?
He cut me off right there. And he goes, so clearly you're just trying to sell everybody something. And I was like, no. I want everybody in this room to subscribe to my channel. I post free stuff every single day.
Yeah.
If you really like my shit and you want some structure and you want to start a business, buy my course. But get started. Learn that there's more out there. You can make a lot of money from, from just your personal brand.
Yeah.
You can make so much money from entrepreneurship and just committing to something else.
Mm.
I really I learned that shit. And how do you feel about that? You're going to college for the experience.
I think that's the biggest load of BS I've ever heard, to be honest. Because the experience that you get in college is, instead of what am I going to do for my future, it's who's my next beer pong partner.
Exactly.
That's the experience you get in college. And I'm not putting it down, to each their own. But like what you said, if I'm paying all this money for an experience and not to learn how to make money to pay off that debt and actually have a future and provide for my family above and below generations, what is the point in that? He literally straight up told you don't go to college to learn how to make money.
That's what he said.
You can go to college and with a degree you make a living, but you're never gonna build a life or set a legacy for your family. That's the bottom line. Doesn't matter. You could have more degrees than a thermometer. That's not gonna pay your bills. That's not gonna do anything for you.
I'm stealing that, and that's gonna be my caption in a future Instagram post.
Go for it. It's not gonna do anything for you. You're not gonna go to a bank and go to your banker asking for a loan on a mortgage or a future house and be like, well, I got a 3.5, I got a 4.0. Doesn't that give me anything? No. They want to know that you're good with your credit, that you have a good paying job. That this guy's not walking in with a bunch of backpacks.
What's up, son? Got another entrepreneur. Joe just walked in the room.
I like what you did with your hair now. You straightened it.
Oh, shit.
Podcast. Yo, we're talking about college. You came just in time.
He already said it. It's probably chorus.
What'd you say? Yo. So, I was playing devil's advocate with him because I was bringing up the talk that I had in front of my sociology class.
I think that's messed up too, that he wouldn't let you cut you off.
Yeah, he cut me off, and I only asked for 10 minutes, and I was 15 minutes in.
Yeah, but
so I don't really.
If you were that extra 5 minutes already, the only reason he cut you off is because you were showing him up in front of his class.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of there's a book, I'm pretty sure it's in the Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, that people are like crabs in a bucket?
Yeah.
You've heard of that?
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, to explain it, especially since I'm being recorded.
Lock on.
Yeah, well, crabs do, and this is a real thing. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one tries to leave, the other crabs will do anything in their power to bring that crab back down with them. They will literally rip its claws out, rip its legs off, anything they could do just to bring that crab back down into the bucket.
Right.
And in life, that bucket is our social circles, our friends, neighbors, relatives, teachers, and obviously the people are the crabs. And you, for instance, you're going out doing something different with yourself. You're not on that path that everyone's being taught and programmed to take. And then this teacher, one of the crabs, is doing everything in his power to bring you back down, saying, no, stop talking your presentation. This is just a sales pitch. You have friends from high school, people from your Instagram, I'm sure, telling you this is a scam, this is a waste of money, what are you doing? They're doing everything in their power, mentally, verbally, and emotionally and physically, to bring you back down to their level. Why? Because it highlights the flaws and insecurities that they have in themselves that they're too afraid to address and kind of change and fix about themselves.
You're always mirroring yourself. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. You're a mirror. The 5 people you surround yourself with are the people that you turn into.
Right.
So like,
That's why association is so important.
yeah, that's why I think the fact that I'm an entrepreneur has a lot to do with the fact that Joe decided to become an entrepreneur at the same time, and we were able to learn and grow together. I don't know, maybe one of those claws would have got me. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
like I had claws here, there, everywhere, but I got Joe going through the same shit. You know what I'm saying?
You have like a support system.
I had a support system. You know what I'm saying? Yo, grab my sister's chair.
Curious. Can I have that quinoa and spinach?
Yes, you can have the quinoa and spinach.
Cool.
Curious, can I have the quinoa and spinach? But yeah, dude, I'm extremely fortunate and blessed to have a friend who was an entrepreneur at the time that I started. Because when I first started, trust me, I was shaky too. Like, I didn't know what I was getting myself into at first. I read a book called The Laptop Millionaire, and they were showing how you can make money with Facebook advertising, managing people's Facebooks and people's YouTube and people's Instagram. And people were getting paid a shit ton of money for it. And I just read it in the book. And that was enough to get me inspired to be an entrepreneur, you know? But I see what you're saying, dude. And that's a great analogy because I have friends like that. Like, I'm not going to call anybody out.
No.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
why I didn't say any names.
But I have a friend who literally in group chats would text me and try to tell me how stupid I am and that nobody would ever pay me money to manage their social media.
Right.
And then you know how good it felt to snap him a picture of my check and being like, "What's up?
Yeah.
What's up?" You know what I'm
They
saying?
paid me. Here it is.
And then instantly, the dynamics of the conversation just switches to, "Congratulations, man! Like, I'm so happy for you." But it's like,
but where were they when you were like just starting?
when I was
going through
figuring it
shit?
out.
Yeah.
Exactly. When I was just learning and just studying Ty Lopez's course.
Yeah.
When I was in that stage, bro.
And you still are just learning. You're still
dude,
in like the beginner
I'm a baby.
stage.
I'm
and
a
they don't
baby
even
with it.
see it as that. That's the thing.
Now I have 18 different businesses that I'm literally associated with now, and I get way more respect for it, and the hate has disappeared.
Right.
It disappeared. Everybody understands now, like, because I feel like because I'm building enough social proof, you hop on my Instagram or Snapchat or YouTube, I'm literally on there every single day showing you guys results I'm getting from businesses. So for you to call me out and say like, oh, you're a scam, it's like, bro, it's like, what? Like, it's not, I'm showing you literally pictures of checks and pictures of results I'm getting for businesses.
Yeah, not from people, from businesses.
And now that I'm finally at that level, it's easier. Way easier to be an entrepreneur. Like, I'm starting to forget what that felt like to be taken down by those claws, because those claws were on me, right? Those claws were trying to bring me back down in that bucket, but now I'm chilling outside the bucket, and right now I got, the net, you know what I'm saying, and I'm trying to find my own social circle.
Yeah.
And I'm that fucking fisherman sending out $5 a day and just trying to collect as many entrepreneur fish and people who are interested in entrepreneurship in one place, and get them to my channel, get them to my newsletter, get them to my Instagram. That's in a position where I'm now. But, and it's so much easier now because it's like the social proof, the results, and just not having any haters or anybody claw me down.
Yeah.
It's made it a lot easier. But for people who are just starting, what Russell said is like a crazy good point. Like, you're gonna have people that try to like, to try to tell you what you're doing is wrong. But at the end of the day, it's like, would you take, fitness advice from somebody who's overweight?
Never.
No. So stop taking financial advice from people who work a minimum wage job. Feel? Or people who have debt. Like, stop taking like advice from them. Well, but you know why I hate teachers? This is like, I love teachers, but like I hate how much authority and power they have, because they make a decent income, right?
Yeah,
so
they have some results.
They put in every single one of their students' minds that they need to succeed at school to be successful at life.
Well, not all teachers do, like what we
Dude.
talked about with Miss
You
Haber.
said that you were the controversy, like, didn't you say you guys are having like controversy?
He was playing
One sec. I'm
devil's
about
advocate.
to, I'm about to put the microphone in the middle of all three of us.
Yeah, he was saying how when he was giving his speech at school about his entrepreneurship speech, about how his teacher was playing devil's advocate with him.
When I was doing my sociology piece, you heard I showed you the video of what my teacher said, right?
Yeah.
What do you think you got from it? I was trying to tell them before basically what he said. Do you remember what he said in the video? Because I showed you. I remember I showed you. I only posted on YouTube the video where I muted him out basically because he told me I wasn't allowed to put his voice in there.
Yeah, no, I remember what he said.
What did he say?
He was just kind of like trying to knock your ass down, to be honest. What do you like? What was your argument about it? Were you having a conversation about it with him?
Well,
he said people go to school not to learn how to make money, but to have an experience and find themselves. That's what he told me. He said.
Yeah.
Word, that's cool, but experience will make you shit. To be honest, experience.
And there's
will
other
keep
ways
you broke.
to get an experience.
Yeah,
in life.
exactly.
Experiences
how many
make
teachers
people
have you
broke.
heard where they say, take a year off from school and go travel, legit travel, immerse
Yeah, but you know
yourself
what?
in the culture.
He acted like that because he was scared. He's the type of person. How old is he? 75 years old.
And that's why he told you to stop.
He's scared of
presenting.
change, man. He's scared. He's scared of, 16-year-olds making $200,000 a month.
Yeah,
he's
'cause
just scared of the new
worked
society.
his whole life to be a college professor, and he's
70?
finally. Yeah, dude, old ass
he's
teacher.
7 years old.
But he's worked his whole life, and now he thinks he's at the pinnacle of success, and you're not. You're really not at the pinnacle of success, and you're
70 years old.
and you're dragging
you're
every single
still
one of
living.
your
All right,
students.
now put yourself in his shoes, though.
He's the crab.
That's why he did
you
that.
highlighted his
He's
insecurities.
Mr.
He's
Krabs.
70 years old, dude, and he's
He's living
thinks
paycheck
that,
to
You know what I'm
paycheck.
saying? The society is just outgrowing him and outdoing him, and he's like, fuck. Put yourself. You have to understand where he's coming from. That's why he reacted like that.
I 100% get where he's coming from, and I was expecting that. I didn't go in there I was gonna have everybody agree with me. If I got one person to agree with me, that it was worth it. But it was worth it if nobody agreed with me, and I don't give a shit because you know what? I got amazing content for my YouTube channel. That's the only reason why I did it. We were talking about the inequality of wealth in America, and it was just a common topic. It was just a topic that was on point with entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I literally highlighted. I was like, all right, so we can either listen to the people who are in the middle class about how to make money, or we can learn from the people who are in the 1% who are giving out free value on YouTube. And he basically was like, well, if that was the case, everybody in the world would know how to play piano, because you could literally look up anything about piano on YouTube.
You can learn how to play
not everybody wants. Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, not everybody wants to
That's
do
such
that.
that's such an ignorant fucking statement.
It was extremely
I'd be like,
ignorant.
dude, that's so ignorant.
But what do you do when somebody puts you on blast like that and really calls you out?
I would have said, dude, that's ignorant. That's an ignorant
Literally
statement.
what
are
we
you
just
talking
said.
about?
You
Yeah,
can
what
learn how to
you-
play
what you
piano
mean?
on YouTube.
If somebody wanted to learn how to
Everyone
play
wants to.
piano on YouTube, you can learn how to play. I know how to edit photos and stuff really good now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you learned it on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Like photography. I knew nothing about photography a month ago. And now I know a decent amount. I'm not the greatest at it, but I've learned so much.
Yeah.
He made no sense in that statement.
Yeah, that's
That's so ignorant.
yeah, that's just silly, man.
I'd be like, what does that even mean?
Really? No, I seriously, I was so respectful in the video too, dude. You gotta see,
He didn't see it?
no,
I saw the one on YouTube.
Oh, you
You
gotta
saw-
see, nah, you gotta see the full one.
I know, I didn't
The
know.
the
there
full
was
one, the
another
uncut,
version.
the uncut
I would have
version.
just put the uncut version on there.
There's gonna be one day
he's
where you
gonna look
find
it up.
out how to blur and
Nah.
blurface and scramble a voice,
Yeah.
or even just I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna put it up.
Nah,
anyway.
you can. I could get sued for
Yo,
that.
you can blur the
because he
fa-
did tell me I couldn't do it, and you.
But you can
can't
blur
really
the
do that.
face and
scramble
deepen
the
the voice.
I,
Yeah.
you know what?
Learn
I
how to
can
do that.
YouTube how to do that and then do that. So
Yeah.
you know what, you guys, uncut version coming soon. We're gonna put my teacher on blast because he was a fucking ignorant asshole. To be completely
I
honest.
mean, we won't know it's your teacher because there will be a blurred face and a scrambled voice.
Exactly, so he can
Like,
sleep
no.
better at night. People aren't gonna know his true opinion.
It is his teacher.
That's mad weak.
Jeez,
Yeah, dude.
7 years old and paycheck.
So what was this podcast about? I came in mad late.
We kind of just I think we're about 30 minutes in now. I only really asked Russell one question so far.
What question?
One question, and I was just like,
I don't even
when
know
you
that.
first dropped out of college, what kind of feedback did you get from it?
Oh yeah,
Like, he basically answered it. What
but you dropped out too.
Yeah.
I dropped out as well.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
I dropped that.
that just
yeah.
leaves you now.
What feedback did I get?
Yeah, what feedback did you get at first when you dropped out of college? That's what the title of this video is going to be. Dropping out of college feedback from peers. I guess.
Peers?
I don't know.
I don't know. I didn't really announce it to my peers, but like, you know.
No, you kind of kept it hidden, I remember,
your peers,
right?
I was but
your
like
peers meaning your friends, bro. I'm not talking about like you posting it on Instagram. I didn't post on Instagram, yo. I dropped.
No, I know, but like
Yeah, you did that.
I know, yeah, no, but I feel like my friends don't really give me shit. Honestly, like I'm being completely honest, like
Did
just
your
'cause-
family not care either? Like,
no,
you told me
my
they were just
mom.
dropped out, right?
Well, I dropped out. Yeah, I dropped out. Like, 1 sec. Sorry. Yo, what's up? No, you gotta call mommy. No, I dropped out in like the middle to the end of my 3rd semester, and I remember having like arguments with my mom like a month before that. And I was always that type of person though. Like everybody knows me like that type of person where I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I'm gonna do me at the end of the day. And 2, I'm always a straight arrow, and I'm always going to get something greater than and different than anybody else is trying to do. So it's like they like everybody kind of like understood what I was trying to do. But my mom didn't know. I didn't tell my parents at all I dropped out. Like I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. Kick me out, whatever. Like, you know, like I was
They
like,
wouldn't though.
They wouldn't.
They talk,
exactly.
Most
So like
parents are
I just dropped out, and then
professional bluffers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just dropped out, and
be on
then,
the streets.
then my mom literally just said like, she said like 2 weeks later, because she just realized that I wasn't really getting up in the morning or anything. She was like, "You dropped out of school, didn't you?" And I remember I just smiled, and I was like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then she was like, "We'll just talk about it after the holidays." I was like, "All right." And then we didn't really need to talk about it because that's when I already like started business and everything. Like I started getting like my structure, my foundation down for business. So she just understood.
Yeah,
you know?
didn't drop out just to. Like,
I didn't drop
sit
out and
there
just like
do
sit in my room. No,
Yeah.
I was working all day, every day. Like, you know, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm still doing. You know?
What were you doing for business before you got your MacBook Pro?
Learning.
I got a Surface.
What were you
Stuff
learning?
between the MacBook and the
I was
Surface,
reading
yeah.
books.
Word.
Insane books. You know?
Mm-hmm. Wait, you're debating whether or not to get a Surface or a MacBook?
No, it was just like a little unfiltered thought.
Oh no,
When I was looking for a laptop, it was MacBook or Surface. I got Surface.
Why?
Word.
Oh, because you got a Galaxy, right?
Yeah, I figured like the biggest thing with Apple is like it all integrates together.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even have an iPhone.
That's what I'm
so
saying. No, if you have a Galaxy, just go
It
with
wouldn't have
Surface.
made
If you
any
have,
sense.
yeah, exactly. If you have,
I would have had to switch
iPhones-
so much.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people mix it up. I'm like, why? Like that makes no sense.
I-
Why are you gonna
I
mix
mixed it
like
up, and then I ended up
that? Yeah, you did.
trading with Billy, because I hated trying to use an
Windows.
iPhone and a freaking Surface Pro. Like it just did not go well together.
Yeah, it's a weird mix.
Yeah.
No, it is a really weird mix.
Yeah, dude, for real. So
But no, I didn't really get shit, to be honest. Like, I mean, I didn't get shit because I subconsciously didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I have that mindset where I really don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't care. Like you're especially like peers. When you say peers, like, what are all our peers doing, dude? You're going to college, good for you. Like you're just sitting in a fucking classroom all day. I'm out here like making money now. You know, like.
If
Not to
if
be all
it's
cocky and
genuinely
stuff.
what they want to do.
But if it's generally what you want to do,
I don't put it down.
but if it,
It's just not for me.
you're just saying like peers. Most of the time they put your shit down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You want to
depending
drop out
on
of
who you
college,
associate
okay?
with.
You know, obviously their first intake is just gonna put you down.
Yeah.
Because it's dropping out of college. Like,
Yeah, it's
they
different.
think that's like the biggest crime in the fucking United States.
For real, it's like
Yeah. Oh my
you're gonna
God.
drop out?
Yeah.
Like Iman, he dropped out of high school, dude.
Gangster.
Yeah.
Dropped out of high school. Like he literally he put the thought in my brother's head. You know.
He's like, this basketball shit does not work out. Clothing line?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like no. When I like told my mom that
Dude,
I was
you're
gonna,
still having a little like.
No, I'm still in
You're
it,
like
guys.
getting like the end of it. Like it's getting to like the end of the storm right now. Like you're still having this shit for like a year and a half now.
Yeah.
So
No, see, for you guys who are new to the channel, I have a mom who's a kindergarten teacher and a grandfather who's a math college professor. So, can you say Mr. Krabs and he didn't have a wife. Mr. Krabs didn't have a wife.
He had a whale daughter.
He's a whale daughter though.
Pearl.
Yeah, me Pearl. But yeah. So basically, I told my mom that I would finish college next semester in the fall, and I could take the spring off. So, that's where I'm at. But for right now, I have like 6 to 8 months that I could just strictly work on business, and by the time that the fall does roll around, it's gonna be like I have my businesses, they're all in place. I'm gonna have a passive income stream, so it's like I'm not gonna mind going to college. I'm gonna pick classes that I find entertaining, and I'm literally just gonna show up in my fresh ass Tesla and leave, and it's gonna be fresh. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna care. People are gonna be like, "Oh, what do you want to be? What are you gonna do with your degree?" I'm gonna be like, "I'm already there. I'm just here because I'm making my mom happy." So that's just the situation that I'm currently in. But dude, when it comes to like arguing with your mom all fucking night, and then the next morning, and then like sometimes like it'll go like a week straight, just fighting, arguing. Like, I just want to see you succeed. I'm with you 100%. I'm like, you're
just
not.
Got a liberal arts degree, but like didn't tell anyone that you did like your social media for the money that you get.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I graduated with this liberal arts degree.
Yeah, that's it. No, that's what I'm gonna say, to be like mad humble. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm gonna tell every single one of anybody who's tuning into my shit like exactly how I make my money and exactly the journey and the process of getting there. I just think it's so cool to be able to live in a world in 2018 where each of us have our own voice, and we can do what we want, and we can say what we want, and we could share what we want, as long as we're not hurting anybody. If we want to, if you want to be anything in the world, you can. At the end of the day, you absolutely can. Like, don't listen to those fucking crabs who are trying to take you back down into the bucket. Like, screw that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you like college, but you understand, like, you're not really, like, 100%, you're not, like, 100% sure that it's going to work out necessarily, highly suggest starting some entrepreneurship on the side. Like, that's what this started out for me. I went to school full-time, was a full-time athlete, and at the same time working on business. Like, there's no excuse. Like, there's a better life out there. Passive income is real. Learning how to work smart instead of hard is, like, the main thing that they should teach you in school, and they don't. So, I had to learn that on my own. But, just if you're listening to the podcast and you're this far into the video, you're on your way too.
You're on your way too.
You're on your way too.
You sound like commercial.
You're on your way too, because you're showing you're technically working right now. This podcast will give you more value than like your average college class that you need to spend for example, this is free opposed to an $800 class in a textbook that require you to come to. This podcast is probably going to last, I don't know, another 20-30 minutes. Who knows how long we're going to keep asking questions and stuff. 33. Yeah, 38 minutes.
Time flies.
It does fly, but think about it. Like, this whole podcast has got mad value, and it's all in the span of less than one high school class. I don't understand why colleges have it set up for where you're there for an hour and a half twice a week.
I had a 3-hour class at Hofstra with like a little 15. What?
I don't know you went to Hofstra.
Yeah, it's not as cracked up as you think.
What do you mean?
Like, it's just very accredited, but you learn the same stuff everywhere except theirs is a private school, so they charge $56,000.
$56,000 for one semester?
Why did you even go there? Like, I'm just curious, like, why you went there.
Because I kind of got caught into the whole, you need to go to college, and I knew I didn't need to. I always told everyone I didn't.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, like, how.
Yeah, where to go.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, maybe I will get, like, some sort of experience and find myself there.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, and Hofstra is great for business, marketing, advertising. It's like,
is it?
It's accredited for it. I don't know if
Who's accrediting it? The people who are getting the
I don't know who. That's the
from
thing.
When you find the $56,000 check.
I guess that's who, but
college
it was
is
like
a business itself.
It is. No,
It's a business.
It's funny. You know what?
It's a really good business.
I kept connections at Hofstra. I had a few friends that still go there, and some who like recently graduated.
Uh-huh.
And I had this friend.
Oh,
What's up?
Called like 10
She her friend works in the marketing department for Hofstra. And she said that, my name is Russell. How you doing?
This is my man Fran. My man Fran has entered the
What's
building.
up?
All right. Continue your thought, bro. Go ahead.
She works in the marketing department at Hofstra, and said that their plan was to reach out to the richer neighborhoods and target the kids with the lower grades. And I was like, well, that doesn't make... And give them the scholarship. No scholarship because they're rich. So, target the rich neighborhoods, low grades, and I was like, that makes 0 sense because you want to keep your credibility and continue to be accredited as a college. And she's like, no, not at all. Like, they're already there. They're Hofstra. Like, Hofstra is a very well-known school. It's not like Yale or Princeton, but it's well-known. It's private. People pay a lot of money just to go there. So, when these kids with low grades saying, wow, I got into Hofstra, yeah, I'll pay. I got the money to pay. I'll go there. So they know they're going to get the money. They know these kids are going to want to get in because they didn't think they were allowed to get in the first place because they had low grades.
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
But now they're just letting them in there because
To
they
fail.
know that, they could fail and
Lose all that money.
All those credits. Like, say you take a class and you fail it, you don't get your money back, and you're just you have a bunch of more credits to go get. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you wasted that entire semester.
Yeah.
Not the entire semester. I take that back. But you wasted that entire class and all that money for that one class. So if you're spending 56 G's for the whole year,
Mm-hmm. Plus all the books and stuff you have to buy too.
So it's probably like 60,000.
Yeah, I guess with all like 4 years, probably. Well, it's 56,000 a year.
No, it's the 60,000 including the books for 1 year. So it's really like
Maybe.
like 6, 12, 8, like $24,000. No, $240,000 total for 4 years.
I'm not a math guy. I dropped out of school.
I'm not a math guy either, but I can add the zeros. My mom taught me a simple trick.
It's $224,000.
It's $224,000.
Yeah.
He said 240.
240. It's like in the
Well,
same
that was
ballpark.
that was with 60.
Oh, that was a 60?
240.
Oh, that was just, exactly. That was 60.
I thought you said
What's up?
56. I did exact.
Nah, bro, we gotta talk about textbooks, Sonny. How much textbooks?
I don't know if textbooks are an extra $4,000, but
Yeah, well, yo.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I was like, I don't know what textbooks
$1,000
your
textbook,
teacher
bro?
made you buy. It was like maybe
I don't know, like
50 a textbook.
There are like some like, weird fees in college though too. So.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Not
Like
a single,
food and everything
Yeah,
too.
it's
They make you have a meal plan.
not a single business owner that has signed up with me has asked me if I had a degree. None of them care. They all care about one thing: sales. If I can bring them more people into their business, my degree does not mean a damn thing to them.
Yep.
You know? I didn't need a degree to walk into businesses and ask if I can do their social media.
I think that's pretty crazy how they didn't even ask you. Like
They
if you
don't
had a
even
degree.
ask,
That's
bro.
funny.
I'm doing real estate agents. I'm doing...
It's literally anyone just walked in and said, "Hey, I could help you increase your business." I don't care if you have a degree. Just, tell me what you got.
Yeah, I never once... It's so crazy. Out of all of these meetings, not a single business owner has gone, so what kind of degree did you get? They all kind of just assume, I guess, that I have a degree. But it's not like I have to show them proof of it.
Yeah.
They've never once asked for it. And
I've
if
gotten that.
really they asked you if you got a degree,
I said right to the face I dropped out.
who asked you and why? Or give us some context.
Shit. I don't know. A couple of them asked me actually. A limo company asked me. A financial advisor asked me. That signed up with me. But like I proved to them that it doesn't matter. You know, I know what I'm talking about.
At the end of the
and
day,
at the end of the day, like when the meeting goes on, like I sound really smart and I can get them results, and I talk marketing better than them, and I know marketing better than them, so they, I have an advantage over them, even though I didn't go to college or anything.
Yeah, it'd be really ignorant if like they knew that you knew more than they did, but they still didn't want to at least look into it with you.
Exactly.
And that's just losing money on their side.
For real. All right. I think that'll be it for the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. We're definitely gonna have Russell back on another episode. Make sure if you guys like this video, you I can't talk. you subscribe to the channel, you leave a comment down below, and you hit me up on any of my social media platforms if you have any more questions or any more topics that you'd like me to discuss. So have a good one, guys.